What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Welcome back to the Respawn, the series where I answer your questions. Let's get started. Today's video is sponsored by Ridge Wallet. I've been using one for a little bit, and honestly, without exaggeration, it's the best wallet that I've ever used. It's incredibly durable. It's got RFID blocking technology to keep your cards and info safe. The biggest thing for me, though, is how incredibly comfortable it is. It's so sleek and compact, you barely even notice that it's in your pocket. It has room for 12 cards, and you can either have a strap or a money clip, and you can choose from a large amount of different styles and colors. The wallet has a lifetime warranty, and if you don't like it, you can send it back for a full refund. This is the last wallet you will ever need, and for viewers of my channel, you can get 10% off and free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/blametc. Click the link in the description below and get yours at 10% off. Do you think they will change how CC works in Overwatch 2? That's stuns, slows, that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, that kind of thing is sort of necessary in this game when you're dealing with certain types of characters and abilities, and it's not something that they can just completely get rid of. And I think I'm going to make some people sad here, but I don't believe they're going to make any major changes with CC in Overwatch 2. I believe they're going to continue doing what they have been, though, which is weakening them overall. So they're lowering the duration, they're increasing the cooldowns, and for new characters, when they do get added in Overwatch 2, I think it's going to be less likely that any of those new characters are going to have things like stuns and slows. I think they're going to try to have more just damage abilities or utility type stuff as opposed to anything with a CC. Something that has been brought up quite often is the idea of diminishing returns, and this already exists in World of Warcraft, where if you get hit with a whole bunch of different stuns and slows, that they have a weakening effect, and eventually you just become immune to all of them for a certain number of seconds. I don't know if they would ever want to do that with Overwatch. I think what they're going to do, again, is to just try to make them less annoying, but I don't really see any major changes for Overwatch 2. Do you think a character that deals damage based on percentage of max health would be good? We already have something like that. Sigma's Ultimate, the second part of it, where the enemies get slammed into the ground, that does 50% of max health for damage. So we already have it. I think that sort of thing is perfectly fine, and you can have characters with those types of abilities. I don't think a normal attack should ever have that kind of a function. Like, I don't think you should have someone like McCree running around doing 20% damage with each attack. I don't think that's a good idea. But what you can have is new characters that do have a percentage-based ability of some sort. I think that would be perfectly fine. It doesn't need to be an ultimate or anything like that, but obviously it would have to be balanced based on cooldown and how difficult it is to use and all that sort of stuff. But having a percentage-based type of attack damage is perfectly fine. How would you rework Doomfist as a tank? This has been suggested to me more times than I can remember. For a long time, I didn't think it was a good idea, because Doomfist is supposed to be really powerful. The gauntlet is supposed to be able to level a skyscraper kind of thing, right? Like, it's supposed to be a huge amounts of damage, and I don't know if that's something that you want on a tank, but Blizzard has been making some other changes that now kind of make more sense. What I'm talking about is it looks like they're trying to get away from one-hit eliminations or quick combo eliminations. They recently nerfed Doomfist, so it's more difficult for him to get those quick combo eliminations. They nerfed Roadhog, so he can't do it that much anymore. They're nerfing the damage on Widow, but now I'm starting to think that maybe you could turn him into a little bit more of a dive tank like Winston. You would have to flatten out his damage a little bit so it's more consistent and less bursty, because you don't want him to have huge amounts of health and armor and that sort of stuff, get into the back line, and then just take out everybody with one hit. That's not a good idea. But if his damage was lowered, if it was more consistent, then I think it could work. There's also another option where, rather than trying to make him get into the back line as a dive tank, you can just make him more into a frontline brawler. And honestly, that kind of feels more like Doomfist to me. And I'm not talking about Doomfist as we've been playing him in the game. I'm talking about Doomfist as a character, right? Like, he doesn't seem like the kind of person or the lore doesn't seem to support the idea of him just trying to sneak into a backline and take out some of the supports. It seems more like he would just stand up front and center and challenge everyone. I mean, that's what we saw in the animated comic short thing that we saw with the character, where he just takes on Tracer, Genji, and Winston all at the same time. Like, he stands toe-to-toe with everyone, and I think that kind of feels a little bit more like the character. So, if we're going to rework him, then maybe turning him more into that brawler type might be more effective. But that would require possibly some other ability changes. I would need to think about this a bit more. I'll put it on my to-do list of things that I want to rework. Would a DPS character with infinite ammo like D.Va work? Well, we already have one with Hanzo, but technically everyone has infinite ammo because you never run out. It's not like CSGO or Team Fortress 2 or any other game where you have to go and collect ammo or get new weapons and that sort of stuff. You always have it, you just have to reload in order to get more. And this is done for a couple of different reasons. Primarily, though, it's balancing. You want to be able to force the character to kind of take a quick little break in between their attacks. Some characters have longer reloads, like Orisa, Bastion, and some others who I can't think of off the top of my head. But the idea here is to force the character into a pause in their damage. And you could have a character that's a DPS that never needs to reload, aside from Hanzo, that is, and you could do that. But you would have to balance it out. You would have to lower the overall damage. You would probably have to increase the interval between the attacks. You would have to do something with the spread and all that sort of stuff in order to make it more balanced. You can do it, but is it generally a good idea? Not really. I mean, it will work, but you kind of need to have that reload there in order to better balance the character. It's about having more things that will allow you to kind of fine-tune the tiny details of a character that help it get more balanced. So you can have it. I don't know if it would be that great of an idea, though. Here's a more personal question. What was your time in the army like? There's a saying in the military, hurry up and wait. It means do everything you can as fast as possible and then just sit around and wait until the next thing comes up. And that's pretty much what it's like being in the army. Now, there are two different segments. You have garrison life and then you have field, where in garrison, you're at the base and you just do your whatever normal job, right? If you're a mechanic or a cook or you deal with paperwork, then you're going to be pretty busy on a regular basis. But a lot of the other jobs in the army, as you can expect, don't have a lot of stuff when you're not, in battle. So you just kind of sit around. Yeah, there's some training here and there, but there's lots and lots of sitting around. But when you're in the field, or when you get sent overseas or you're deployed or something, then you are doing stuff all the time. Like when I was deployed, I was working 12, 13 hours a day, every day, no day offs, right? So it's a really big difference. You're either doing nothing or you're doing everything. And that's basically what it is. You're either doing nothing or you're doing everything. Would a support with no healing and only utility work? No. They already tried that with Symmetra 1.0, and it failed miserably. I don't think you can have a support character with no healing. However, I think it's okay for a character to emphasize utility over healing, but you still need to have healing. So when you're looking at the support characters, you can have some that have very high raw healing and then low utility, and then you can have others that have low healing and high utility. You're basically talking about the difference between a main healer and an off healer. And either one of those are fine, but I don't think that you can get rid of any of those things. Like, each of the support character needs to have healing, and they need to have some kind of utility, just in different amounts. But a character with no healing, no, that just isn't gonna work. Can you do a Maximilian hero concept? Unfortunately, no, it's not something that I'm interested in, because when I make my hero concepts, I want complete freedom to design them however I want. How the character looks, what their lore is, what their abilities are, all that sort of stuff. And if I take a character that's already existing in a comic or an animation, then a bunch of the stuff has already been created by Blizzard. For example, with Maximilian, we already know what he looks like, we know what his background is, we know the organization that he's in, all that sort of stuff. We don't know what abilities he might have, but judging by what the character looks like, you can kind of then create abilities for him. But I don't want to do that. I want to be able to make stuff completely free of all of that. So unfortunately, with this character and with any of the others that you might see in comics or the animations, I don't want to make hero concepts for them because I can't redesign the entire thing, basically. That's going to be all the questions for this week. I already posted a new card up on the community tab of my YouTube channel. And once more, thank you to today's sponsor, Ridge Wallet. If you want to get yours at 10% off, check the link down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to be comment of the video, then leave yours, and while you're at it, ring the bell so you never miss a new video. Also, if you want to get some cool gear, join my Discord server, or follow me on social media, then check out the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.